Good morning friends, Adab, Sat Sri Akal. This is your President Mr. Raghavendra Das in my 121st video. We are covering the 3 presidencies and various Governor General orders passed for it. Rebrushing the facts very quickly, the Army Regulations of Bengal started from 1855 till 1887. Similarly, Madras started from 1869 to 1887. And Bombay Regulations, Army started from 1875 to 1887. The reason why all culminated in 1887 was that in 1879, there was a recommendation by the Queen of England that why not abolish these 3 presidencies and let them be culminated into one. So all orders passed during 1792 to 1895 of these separate presidencies for the making of these military stations and for grants of land since 1789 to 1801 in Madras Presidency and 1789 to 1803 in Agra Province, or since 1789 to 1817 in Bombay Presidency. And the last came the Punjab Regulation area, which was under the Lieutenant Governorship of 1859. So now we will talk of Bombay Presidency. As per Army Regulation, grants of lands were quite similar to the other regulations, that all grants had to be registered and in particular for various Ggos applicable in this Bombay Presidency. So we will explain this now. So the Army Regulation of 1875 for Bombay Presidency reads in section 7, whenever an alteration may be required in any part of the limits of cantonments, which have been regularly marked up to and published by the Magistrate and Commander-in-Chief, are to draw up and sign a report and plan of the entire limits, as proposed after alteration, and new description will be then published in Journal Order, which will be considered superseded and cancel the previous plan and register. So this is very important. As per section 8, when an extension of cantonment limits or the acquisition of grounds for other military purpose is proposed, the General Officer commanding of the division concerned will prepare a communication with the civil authority. A sketch plan is to be exhibited of the grounds asked by the Commander-in-Chief, and further a statement of the probable cost for obtaining possession of such lands has to be submitted to the HIS Excellency, who will finally propose a warrant of the proceedings and approvals of the government. So there was an entire procedure where any land under section 8 could be brought within the cantonment and which could not have been a part of it. That now once again Ggos passed for Bombay Presidency. How can we assure under which one of the Ggos your bungalow was granted without a grant document? The various Ggos passed for this presidency of Bombay now starts from Government General Order 15th April 1819. The boundaries and local rules extended to all the areas within. So which I just read, section 7 and 8 of 1875 actually culminated from 1819 order. The General Order of 14 dating 6 January 1827. Land belongs to government and resumption of land was allowed. So Ggos were first given under this order. Government Journal Order dated 1st May 1827, land not required be left vacant and cleared with its due of cultivation and handed back to the original owner. Government Journal Order dated 8th January 1830, it fixed those rents for those lands which never belonged to them. Another order of Bombay government 30th October 1832, exclusion of private properties and power to remove civilians So that means there were no civilians in 1832 in either of the Bombay presidencies. Similarly, order 22nd August 1833, which clearly read, another order of 22nd August 1835, how the occupation of land is to be done in the boundary pillars. General Order number 260, 7th May 1838. This clearly says that all Ggos passed in either of the presidencies of Bengal and Bombay are rescinded. The various orders now in force in this presidency in regard to the occupation of land and the disposal of premises of buildings within the limits of military cantonments are rescinded. And the following regulations substituted: all applications for unoccupied grounds for the purpose being enclosed, built upon, or in any way appropriated to private purpose within the limits of a military cantonment are in the first instance to be made to the commanding officer of the station through a usual channel. What is this channel? And in no case are the boundaries of compounds to be changed, again the 1803 dimensions. And in no case are the boundaries of compounds to be changed, old roads closed or new ones opened without the sanction of Commander-in-Chief. Permission to occupy ground lands in a military cantonment confers no proprietary rights to the occupant. It continues the property of the state and resumable at the pleasure of government, but in all practicably to state and resumable at the pleasure of government, but in all practicable cases 1 month notice for resumption is to be given, and the value of the building which may have been erected is to be estimated by a committee or a board and paid to the owner. Now, is it to be paid prior or after? We will talk later. Similarly, Governor General Order number 497 dated 27th August 1844, boundaries to be marked as per Regulation 22 of 1827. The exclusion of private lands and a plan has to be made. General Order of Commander-in-Chief dated 7th July 1847. Boundaries have to be enforced. So all Bombay Presidency cantonments, the boundaries were made under the rule May 1838. General Order of 1850 569 dated 8th November 1849 again talks of boundaries and plans. Why there are so many orders on boundaries and plans? Were they being changed? Government Order of 677 dated 15th December 1851. Application of land and permission by Commander-in-Chief with the approval of the local government to occupy land. So that means till 1851 the military cantonment was making boundaries, again leaving those boundaries. Do we presume this by this order? And finally by 1851 they decided okay. Similarly, 1853 16th May order said there shall be no sale of land illegally in the military boundaries. Order number 674 of 11th November 1853, it prevented a word misconceptualizations called to be private. General Order number 338 of 29th March 1862, permission to occupy lands confers no proprietary rights, which was earlier also said. Why is it needed to be rebrushed in 1862? Because here the Cantonment Act had already come. Government Resolution, Military Department 816 dated 15th March 1862. It said resumption of lands and an arbitration committee is to be formed. Similarly, GGO 1870, it said permission to occupy lands within cantonments in foreign territories. If the department reads and goes through all these orders which are reprinted in the MLM of 1944, under Appendix 19 under rules and regulations for the three presidencies before the year 1789 to 1899 in regards to lands within cantonments. The page numbers are 134 to 172. So it everywhere produces that there has to be a boundary pillar and a plan for each and every cantonment within the Bombay Presidency. Is it there? So we need to understand why the Britishers were making so many boundaries, so many laws for plans. Every time they rebrushed from 1803 till 1862, because the actual boundaries of the cantonments, which were called military stations and now cantonments, was not made. Friends, I will request, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because after understanding all these laws, you may be having a lot of questions. It will become easier for you to talk to me on a one-on-one basis and understand if there is any question regarding Bombay presidencies. Thank you. Good day.